It is Wednesday again. Oh my gosh, are we excited? Another fantastic Rotary meeting here. You know, this is the second to the last one of this calendar year, so you should appreciate just the absolute funness. Last time we were going to meet in this room this year. So take a moment to look around, appreciate the room, understand what we've been blessed with here. So, counting your blessings is a key part of being a happy person. So let me see here. Mr. Spence, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? It's up on the next page. There it is. That's fine. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nothing like a brand new red badger to make the heart go pitter patter. All right, are we super excited? Up next, we have this songsters, and we have a very good song today. I mean, not that they're not all very good, but a classic among classics.
We're doing classics.
Underwater trajectory. Okay, I'm going to need to see that.
Do I have to hold it closer?
Okay, who's interesting? Okay. So we always have to come up with the song, and so since this is a club assembly and we're all assembled here, and we might want to go all together now. Actually, that's in the song, all together now. It is. So we're gonna sing Yellow Submarine, and I brought my Yellow Submarine guitar. Okay. Ready, kids? 1, 2, 3.
In the time where I was born, with the man sailed to sea, and he told us of his life in the land.
Okay, everybody.
We all live in the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine. So we stay above the sun till we found the sea of green. Oh, I gotta say still. And we live beneath the waves in our yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine. And our friends are all aboard. Many more of them live next door. And the band gets to play. We'll be on the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine.
All right.
All right, and the fan goes wild. Okay, Trudy, you are up with your thought for the day.
Okay, what I realized through all this is giving a thought for the day is not as easy as you think. Some people get up here and do really funny stuff, Dennis. And then other people do one-liners that are also very funny. I'm not doing either of those. So when I started thinking about this week's thought for the day, and that it was Christmas time, I started thinking about the things that mean Christmas to me: music, movies, certain Christmas ornaments, etc. And I thought I would ask each of you some questions that might make you think of something that brings you joy this time of year. I have a couple of favorite Christmas movies. The one that comes to mind first is White Christmas, which I always watched with my parents. Oh, and my dad thought he could sing like Bing Crosby, so that was also entertaining. The second movie is one that has a lot of controversy around it, but Dave and I know the Christmas season has arrived when we watch Die Hard. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Now, Christmas songs, that's another story. I have favorite Christmas songs, but as some of you know, next Tuesday is our 47th wedding anniversary, so you can imagine that we had Christmas carols at our wedding. So I walked down the aisle to Joy to the World, and we walked out together to Hark the Herald Angels Sing. So what I'd like to ask you guys to do today is, as you go through the rest of the holiday season, think about the things that bring this season of life to life in your memories, and relish those memories and pass them on to next generations.
Okay, we're gonna actually, I know we're not supposed to do politics in Rotary, but how many of you think that Die Hard's a Christmas movie? Okay, about 2/3-ish. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, then the people who believe strongly. I mean, it's one of our national divides. It is. If you've seen the movie, that people have strong feelings both ways, and I understand there are good people on both sides. Oh, that was a little too close. All right, our spur reporter is Will Bates and Spill Publisher. It's Ted Michaels. Irv is photographing king. Yes, there he is right there. Hey, you need to get this. This is getting good. Yeah, it's about as good as it's going to get. All right, Joel is doing our audio visual. Okay, our greeter. Oh, there he is right there. There. Our greeter is Keith Beck. How many people got greeted by Keith? That's pretty good coverage. Yeah, well done. Yes. All right. Our Zoom host is Jeff. Jeff, where's Jeff? There he is. He's here, yet he's there. You know, we are coming down to it. There's only one more of these that we're going to do. So again, if you enjoy Jeff doing Zoom and you're sitting next to him, just take an extra moment to relish the fact that he's got the computer in front of him, that he's here, that he's there, because these things pass as well. Our sergeants at arms, Trex and Bobbin. Whoa, we've got them both. We have two arms of the sergeant. That is incredible. Our web Ubermeister. Ubermeister. I can never get that sound of Ubermeister because it, yeah. Kathy Coyle, Public Outreach is Kelly Bowers. Videographing is Niall, and he's really going to have the work cut out for him after the first of the year when we start videographing. Videoing? Taking video? Doing that. All right, introduction to visiting Rotarians and guests. Any visiting Rotarians or guests on Zoom? Neither, none, neither. Very good. In the room, visiting Rotarians. Yes, we have one. There we go. I always know to wait a minute because we're a little slow.
President Mark, Rotarians, it's my pleasure to introduce Eric Wente of Wente Vineyards.
Wow, yay. Any visitors? Dennis, you brought a visitor.
Rotarians, I'd like to introduce Merlin Martin. Merlin is kind of looking around and trying to figure out whether indeed he'd like to join this club.
Well, his question is, should you drive a fantastic club or some other club? I mean, there are options out there, and we know you have a choice in clubs, and we appreciate you coming and spending some of your time with us today. So thank you. All right. Any other visitors lurking back there? I don't see anything. Announcements. Okay. Ready. Who's going to give an announcement on Ready? Oh, Dennis again. Wow, that is super cool.
This weekend, the Ready program took a bunch of kids out to the California Academy of Science in San Francisco. And you can see in that photograph the kids, and they're all smiling and beaming and learning things. It's all life sciences. On the lower left is this white alligator. Now that white alligator has been at this place in that location, in that pose for at least 25 years that I can remember. I took 10 minutes and just stared, waiting for a twitch to see if it's still alive. It winked at me. I think it's still alive. Yep. And we all had a wonderful time, and they appreciate it. Thank you.
For those of you who volunteered to help out, that is amazing. We appreciate that. Yes, and that's what happens when somebody else gets to do the pictures. You see? Yes, we are getting down to it here. So technically the contest ends tomorrow. So I bet you wanted to know, like I did this morning, how we are doing here. So just a moment. So just 20 minutes ago, I texted Brooke and I said, I know we are doing good for the world, for these particular people, for the children who are going to benefit from all of your generosity. And that is an enormous positive thing. But I want to win. It's small and petty, and it probably speaks to something deeply seated within me being inadequate. And so we found out that earlier this morning we were on second place, which is nice out of a wide field, lots of people, but very few people remember who finished second. Yeah, it really is. And so, with permission of our treasurer, I used my presidential authority to make a donation to the cause of $500, and we're number one. You all have raised $5,715.90. Congratulations. Now, second place is still lurking out there at $5,451, just 200 and some odd dollars behind us. And if now they get sort of, a little ticked because they're in second place, I wouldn't mind if those of you who haven't given yet, give just a tiny bit more, a little bit of insurance here. The guy who's coasting to the finish line after running the 26 miles and gets passed feels silly. So anyway, we pledged that we would raise $5,000, and this club has. So you should be very proud of yourself. And in all seriousness, the work that this charity does is tremendous, because children going through life-threatening illnesses, especially those who are immunosuppressed, have a very rough time and very little to look forward to. And our contributions are going to make that just a little bit better. So making a difference in the world, and right here in the Tri-Valley. So give yourselves a round of applause. And who is this Vince guy who's number 2? I do need to kind of check into that. What the Lindsay? Yeah, I got the confidential records right here. It's sort of like getting taxes. It's amazing what they show up on this printout here. Brooke is a very trusting and good person, so that I won't abuse that trust. All right. So you'll remember that in October, we talked about John Shirley. At the beginning of December, the portal for the Community Health and Education Fund, CHEF, opened, and they are matching our funds. And so Irv tells me we have about, in the RFL side of the house, about 10-ish. And so Irv's going to start moving some of that money across. We have just north of $5,000 that have gone through the CHEF portal directly. We do ultimately need to funnel a total of $20,000 through the CHEF portal to maximize our match. They're giving us 50 cents on the dollar, so I always want to do that. So if you have pledged, please make sure that you've done one or two things. You've gone on the CHEF website, you've entered the portal, you've done your donation. Yay, that's a complete win. Thank you very much for that. If you have it coming from a more complicated source, a donor-advised fund, a retirement fund, something else where they need to cut a check, do that directly to the RFL, write a memo on it, John Shirley Scholarship. I did that for my donor-advised fund. They didn't even kick it back. Because one time I said President's Club, and they got very upset about that, and we had to have an exchange of paper. But scholarship fund seems like a very good thing to them, so they let that one go through. So if you don't wait, because it usually takes a while. Mine started about 10 days ago. It's still not here. So if you haven't done that yet, please do that. We are going to get all the way to the goal. I am very proud of what this club did, and that will, along with the contributions of your foundation, will take us to over $100,000 over the next year, and will endow this scholarship forever. So a lasting tribute to all of you in the club. All right, up next. Oh my gosh, there was a party. And yes, you can figure out who's going to talk here for just a moment. So Sheila, you're going to hand the microphone off there. So very good. You
Here, so I can. So that photo is what was left of all the food and beverages that we had. That's what was left.
the Sermon on the Mount.
No, no. No, that was 2 veggie rolls. And Irv, so I want to thank a lot of people because we had a lot of help that day. I had a team of my own, but then there were a lot of other people from this club that were involved in the party. The Rotarian Foundation of Livermore sponsors this party. The 2 clubs put the party on, and we're all Rotarians, so it all works out. My team was Will Bateson.
Yay.
Will, are you here? You're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you? Okay, all right. Don Wentz
Yay.
struggled in Pleasanton to get to Ruth's coffee shop during the Christmas parade.
Oh my.
Yes, he got there. Michelle Clayman, who, when you have somebody who works for LARPD on your team, oh my gosh,
Yes.
she is amazing. Did you hear that, Matt? Yeah, she was just amazing. Lynn came and helped me do the shopping along with Pat, and we got all the stuff together and delivered it. And then Gretchen, who is the admin for the foundation, was also a really big help. She comes every single year. So that's my team. Then we had Irv, who took over 200 photos. And maybe we should have a slideshow of that, Irv,
Ooh.
because then you can see all the beautiful faces of all these kids. Keith and Carol Beck were elves. And he wasn't dressed like that. He looked more like Santa that day. Anyway, they were really great. They went around and visited with the families. Michael Ferrucci and J.R. Romero provided the technology for the sound system and all of that. And so provided music. We can't do that without AV. So thank you so much. I think I've covered everybody. But we had 184 people, guests in total. That's children and families. And they all had a wonderful, wonderful time. And if I had the photos, if we had a slideshow or next week, can we do that? Because, or put them somewhere where you can see them. So all the refreshments were either eaten or taken home. And we're talking about, we had 300 pieces of sandwiches, little sandwiches. We had 300 of those. We had 200 of everything else, goldfish, fruit snacks, Ritz cheese cracker packages. What else? Oranges, juice. Have I missed anything, Pat? Yogurt. Yes, we had yogurt, lots and lots of stuff. The candy canes. We didn't do the candy canes, but many children came up more than once, and they were looking like, is it okay for me to take something more? And that just told me that we had a lot of children there who were hungry, and we had parents there who were hungry. And it's hard to describe when you realize that there are hungry children at the party. And Regina, who's the director, told me that she's seeing more food insecurity with Cape families this year than she's ever seen before. So I was really pleased that we just took things around to the tables and said, you want to take, we had string cheese too. You want to take some of this home? You want to take some of this home? You want to take some of this home? And they all did, but they all also said, but we want to make sure that everybody else gets something. We don't want to take the whole bowl. We're not going to do that. So I want to thank the RFL for continuing to do this party, because it is so important for me and for people who have participated in this over the years. It's just such a wonderful event, but it's meaningful, and it's meaningful to the families, and it's meaningful to Cape. And bless his heart, John Gordon, who I wish that some of the newer members knew John Gordon and John Shirley and Leo Croce, because I was fortunate enough to know them. And this party was John Gordon's brainchild when he was president of the Rotarian Foundation of Livermore. So thank you very much, Mark. And food insecurity. So if you can donate to the food bank or they'll take any donations. I mean, a lot of these families go to the food bank, get extra food, try Valley Haven. They will take your contributions. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Kathy.
happy holidays.
And thank you, Kathy, for all of your work on that, everybody who participated. So, do you realize that we just rolled through 3 very different ways that you all give back to the community and make this a better community and a better place to be. For those who experienced food insecurity, coming to an event like this is truly wonderful. And I would encourage folks to next year pop in. All right, next week, yes, indeed, we are going to have a catered lunch. Trizzy's is going to do that. We need a few volunteers. You need to go give Mike a hand. We're looking for a handful of people to help hand out the food, pass out the food, dish out the food. We're getting the last of things like plates and napkins and all of that. It is going to be wonderful. And we're going to also have the Livermore High School Choir be our program. So it is just going to be a fan-frickin-tastic program next week. So this week is all about getting the business of the club done. Next week is all about having a good time, enjoying the music of the choir, having a nice meal. And so if you have a prospective member who you might want to bring, that would be a fantastic to it. You could even bring a spouse. They could be a prospective member as well. A girlfriend, a boyfriend, all of those sorts of things, significant. But we are going to be in the bigger room next week. So we are not going to try and fit in here with all of us and the choir there. And so a quick show of hands, how many people might bring a guest of some sort next week? Okay, so 15-ish, I would guess there. So we'll try hard to have enough food on hand. Just like the kids at Cape, do ask before having seconds. It's a very polite thing to do. Can't tell whether that landed or not, that joke. It was kind of one. Mike, anything else that we need to know?
Yeah, Sonia is going to organize the servers, so
Cool.
she needs 6 people if you talk to her.
A handful in Appalachia.
One
Ooh, there we go. We got
person.
some there. We got,
So we'll have 2 shifts, so you'll
Okay.
be able to eat and then, while the others are serving. And I need one person to stop by my house next Tuesday evening to pick up the warming plates so that we can keep the food warm.
anybody willing to
before you eat it.
volunteer for that?
So if somebody can do that, that would be great. Okay. Anytime
5, 6?
late afternoon or
Okay.
6, 7, whatever's convenient,
All
be
right.
fine.
Okay, Joel, thank you very much for volunteering to do that.
Thank you. And while I'm up, maybe I can take care of a little extra here.
Yes, sir.
My guest today, most of you I'm sure know, Eric Wente. Eric started giving us wine back in the 90s.
And we're still drinking.
Right.
Thank God.
And this at that time was for our foundation auction d'elegance that we had for many years. And at least a couple of times we had it actually at the Wente restaurant. When that ceased to have, to be, Eric was kind enough to give us wine for our Rotary crab feeds. So that's been a big part of our crab feed, monies that we're able to make and use for our mini grants and the other things that we do. And it's long overdue to bring Eric here. Normally our major sponsors are 5 or 10,000. Well, we can't use $5,000 worth of wine. But Eric's been doing
Well,
this every
I
year.
don't know. I mean, you never put it to us as
Hey.
a challenge.
Well, yeah. Well, I know you guys could, but I have to be honest. So anyway, I have I'd like to make this presentation, Eric. Just a small thank you.
Yay!
And would you like to say a few things about?
Well, what I was going to say is that what he neglected to say is that a smaller number times 30 years is a larger number.
Yes. I think he easily
So
got over
just
the hurdles.
As a rising and rebuttal.
There we go.
Then, secondly, but just thinking about it when I came in today, that 50 years ago was the first time I attended a Rotary meeting in Livermore.
Wow.
No.
Well, we can
um,
fix that.
Well, he's been working on me.
The 51st year is the magic.
There-
Mike, don't
there we
give up.
Well, back in 1974, that bell and hammer were used quite a bit more. It was always clang, clang, clang. You're fined. You're this. You're that. You're 5 minutes late. And I went with Albert Kirkman, who was a Rotarian, dyed in the wool Rotarian that had the plaque on the wall and the perfect attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it got all the way to the floor. So that sort of put it out if you're a traveling salesman and every Wednesday didn't look good. So
Well,
anyway,
we've gotten a lot mellower over the
Yeah.
years.
so thank you very much for the award and thank you very much for all the stuff you do for the community. I think it's a great job.
Eric, thank you and your family for all you do.
One other thing I should say, Eric's daughter Christine, fifth generation in the business, is the trustee of their family foundation. And this last year, beginning of this year, she was kind enough to give us $1,000 for the music scholarship. And I'm hoping to talk to her again, of course, for this coming year.
There we
So
go.
thanks to Christine also.
Eric, thank you for everything you and your entire family does for this community. You've been an integral part of the community since it began, and we're proud to have you here in our club today.
One last thing.
Nope. You need to keep that mic away from him. Past presidents just don't know when to stop talking.
What I was telling Eric, the crab feed before last, we ended up with, from Eric, a case of nth degree Syrah. And obviously it didn't make sense to put just 12 bottles. That wouldn't be fair for those that couldn't get it. So we've been auctioning these off for different things. We've been auctioning them off. And so I'd like to auction this off. It's a good time of year for you to have a really nice, this is wonderful wine. Very underrated, super. And this would be for the music scholarship. So can I have someone start off with $100?
$100. There we go.
150?
Ooh, 150 up here.
Michael, 200? 200? 250? 250? 300? See, with this donation, you get something too.
It is so true.
And I think the retail on this is 100. So we're at
Ooh,
300.
300 in the back. Yes.
Do we have a 350 lurking? 350?
Going
300
once.
going once, twice? Thank you, Christian.
Woo! Thank you, Christian. Next week, we've got Livermore High School choirs and Brendan Lodge are the director. So do come. It's going to be great fun. All right. So we've got actually, I've got an announcement that I forgot to make. So, but I forgot what it was. So, all right. Next week, we'll get to, oh no, it's the crab feed tonight. That was the announcement. When is it? 5 o'clock? Where is it? At your house? Where's your house? On St. Charles. You go to St. Charles, you'll see it. There's a loud, rowdy party, people spilling out into the streets. It'll be easy to figure out. It's not that big a street. So 5 o'clock tonight, tomorrow, that's Thursday, tomorrow night at 5 at Bob's house. Okay, we got that? That was the announcement that I forgot to make. All right. So we've got a club assembly today, and we're going to make this as entertaining as possible, which is not very entertaining. No, that's not true. But we've got some business to do because as of pretty much right about now, as they say, I'm about halfway done, as they say, both in the year of being your president and in the 3-year stint of being the president-elect, president, and past president. So, come December 31st, as the song said, we're halfway there. But that means that we need dedicated Rotarians who are not having conversations with the treasurer but they didn't catch it because they're deep in conversation. There we go. They're doing good business there. But essentially, we need nominations and approval from the club to get our slate of officers elected for next year through an arcane process that's a lot like how they elect popes. The new slate comes about, the president-elect nominee comes about, there's a puff of smoke, a lot of conundrum searching, a lot of drinking involved. Yes. So with that introduction, I'm going to turn it over to Sheila to say, how did we do this and what did we come up with?
That was sacramental wine we used for that. Yes, yes, yes. We blessed ourselves. Oh, let me turn this on. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank all the past presidents and for their time and effort. I learned a lot. This was my first go at this. So, and I have to say that in our club, we have amazing members, and it wasn't easy to for the presidents to decide, who to nominate. So I definitely can see how this is kind of a difficult job. And, all of you are very deserving, but we did, and I will announce the president-elect nomination and the slate of officers that will be filling in for those positions that will be opening up next year. So our slate of, and I'll just need an approval from the floor. Our board position nominees are Trex Donovan, Christine Lusty, and Trudy Barnes. And with that, our nomination for president-elect for 2026 would be Joel Swanson. So with that said, I would like to move. And okay, that's right, actually. And then we did select or a nomination for secretary, since Joe will be leaving that post. I was going to tell him that, that's kind of part of the deal, but no, I was told that couldn't happen. Irv Stowers has stepped up to be our secretary. So our incoming president, Pat McMiniman, will have the chore of shuffling and filling the rest of those positions, and that will be up to him. So I guess make the, the motion to approve our nomination for president-elect and our slate of officers. Perfect. Okay, second by Mark. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that was easy. Thank you so much.
So it really is an embarrassment of riches to be able to choose from such qualified people. Now, the other thing is, that the past presidents now technically can't be president again, but they can do other roles. Because if you look around the room, they're kind of laying around like cordwood. I mean, so if you take all the past presidents out, the quality of the people that you have left is quite tremendous. And if you noticed on the slate of board officers, you have some folks who are relatively newer to the club. So we're very excited about that as well. So one of the purposes of the club assembly is for you to hear a little bit about what's going on from the officers. So several of our officers are here today, and they're going to give you just a couple minutes about what's going on in their area of expertise. So, Will, are you around here somewhere? Yes, you are. Can you give us a couple minutes, on maybe club service?
Hello. Okay, so Rotarians, you guys are doing a great job of filling the weekly slots every week, which Joel does a very good job of getting them out to everybody, right? So whenever I need a greeter, before I can even do anything, somebody's already stepped up to be a greeter, and that's great. One thing I'd really like to see is some of the Red Badgers filling more of those slots, because it's a great way, being a greeter is a great way to know people in the club. Thought for the day is a nice little thing. It can be very short. It can be a song. It can be something funny, but it's a nice little thing to do. Spur Reporter, which I'm doing for the second week in a row because we seem to be slow on getting Spur Reporters. Whereas in the past, it was a big job because you do everything that happened in the meeting. Now it's a much smaller job because all you're doing is the first half of the meeting. And then once the speaker comes, you just kind of maybe do a highlight or two and say, hey, listen, look at the video on YouTube or wherever the video happens to be now. So it's a much easier job, and I'd encourage more people to try that. Along with that, we need backups for a couple positions: photographers, videographer, and AV. And, Niall does a great job, but there's one of him. So it'd be nice to have one or two other people be mentored by him or Irv for photography, and Joel as well. And that would really help out a lot. And then the last thing, obviously, Mark has said that Zoom is going away, which it is, but not necessarily permanently. If you have very strong feelings about Zoom, let us know, and it's possible that it comes back someday. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, thanks for all your support. Fill up those slots, and that's it.
So if you do have strong feelings about Zoom, let Will know. He, in air, said to let me know as well. Just let Will know. That'll be fine. All righty. Communities. Is Loretta here today? I didn't see her. Lots of cool things going on with that. And you'll read about that in the newsletter. So that's a shameless plug for the newsletter, which will be coming out on the 15th. So today's the 11th. You can start counting down the days on your calendar, sort of like an Advent calendar thing. Whereas on the 15th, it is, I've got, as the president, I got an early look at it. It's looking amazing. So there's lots of cool things in the newsletter there, including what our community service director, Loretta, has been doing. Yes. Zoom just takes an enormous amount of work. And for the handful of folks there. And so for that reason, we, as you'll recall, we had a big discussion, as the large group. Then we had another big discussion as the large group. Then we had a discussion in the board. Then we had a second discussion in the board. Then we had a decision by the board. Then we had a reformation and a redecision by the board to do that. So it really is just the hours and hours and hours of effort it takes to sort of do everything that does Zoom. And that's really the only reason. It's not money. Nope, it's not a cost. It's just getting volunteers every single week to do it, and that's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. Appreciate that. Very good. Hank?
When did you say Zoom was going to disappear?
End of the year.
That's a problem.
Okay. All righty. Okay, up next, Irv, International Services.
For this year, we have several projects that are currently running and about to begin. And we've actually had a couple projects. These are all local or international projects that that basically have completed and have turned in their partial complete reports. So just as an update, the railroad depot is a project that Al Frank is more or less heading up. And we're essentially donating $17,000 out of the district money to redo the depot portion of the railroad station. And it hasn't, it's in the paper processing mode at the moment. And I can't believe how much paperwork it takes to give the city money. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, sometime in January, February, I think he'll be standing up here looking for volunteer painters and carpenters and things like that to help do the work. We have two projects that are completed that I thought you might like to know about. These were essentially selected a year ago. There's a project called the Bole School in Ghana, West Africa. And we were one of the contributors, and we gave about $12,000 to take an old rundown, really beat up school, primarily for girls, and to refurbish it, paint it, put in new bathrooms, new shower stalls, new classrooms, desks and stuff like that. So that actually is turned in a report now, and our portion of it was $12,000. And we have gotten a final report from a group that's doing a endoscopic center for cancer diagnosis, not necessarily the treatment, but it's for ear, eye, and nose, and related facial related things that can be identified by using an endoscope, one of these devices you put down your throat and in other openings. And and this is in a portion of India that's called Andhra Pradesh. It's kind of the southeast corner of India, big place. And we donated $14,400. So these were donations that you gave through GOUD to the Rotarian Foundation, and then they hold it for a few years, and then they give it back to the district, and the district allots it to us proportional to how much we gave over those 3 years. And so it's been very well used. We are currently working on what to do for essentially next year's projects, and I'll give you a further report in the future.
Other openings that the endoscope goes to. Yes, and they say I'm inappropriate. All righty, moving on there. Major events. JR, is JR with us today? Oh, he is right there in back, and he probably, I know he's been working for weeks on his presentation, talking about all of the major things, including the crab feed and other cool things. But JR, why don't you make your way forward through the, man, it is not possible to get from here to there. Well, there you go. All right, JR, what's going on with major projects?
Well, it's always a mistake to give me a mic in front of a crowd. Hey, should I do my picture? Anyways, okay, so coming up, we have the crab feed. Some changes on the crab feed. We usually had it, I think last year was the first year we moved it a little further into the year, which is a great idea because the weather's better. This is going to be the first time in a long time it's going to be on a Saturday. So it should free up some people to get there early, help, no job to rush from work to get to the crab feed. So that's a plus. It's gonna be an all-nighter all the way to the crack of 10. Gotta know your crowd. Yeah, all these party animals here. So it should be a fun event. It's in the planning. Some new things with a payee that they brought up, and that's gonna be coming up and explain. It makes it an easier way to make the payments and purchase things, which is kind of cool. I think somebody else will speak to that. But later on in the year, I'm planning on something else that would be kind of fun for everybody to bring, like family, grandkids, kids, things like that. It does involve a little ball. It does. It does. Yeah, it does have golf in it. Yeah. But it's on a little small course. And so that I think it has windmills, it has opening and closing doors. There's all kind of fun things there. There's like an animal with the mouth open you can hit the ball into. So it should be fun. Uh, well, we'll have to ask Irv about that. Anyway, so that's something I'm gonna give it a good shot to try that and get that something coming up in May. So I'll be looking for some people to kind of help me out on that. And other than that, I think that's pretty much it.
Yes. Tickets on sale for the crab feed, JR. Yep. January 8th, he said. Yes. Wow. He really throws his voice well. That's amazing. January 8th. That's just a few short weeks from now. Save up your crab dollar pennies to get ready to do that. All right. Up next, Don Sweeney, membership. Oh my gosh. You've gotten such quality members lately. And so, ooh, look at that. There we go.
So the important points I want to make are the first points and the last point, because we need your help. So the membership committee set a goal of having 10 new members, 10 new Red Badge members this Rotary year. And that means that by the end of the year, we should add 5 or have a net gain in membership of 5 or 6 members. So it's interesting that that's consistent with Rotary International's goal, if you didn't know it, of having 1.25 million members by 2030. And if you do the numbers roughly, there are roughly 50,000 clubs, that adding that number of new members to this club is roughly our share to reach that 1.25 million. And that date, by the way, is the 125th anniversary of Rotary International. So we're also activating the new Red Badge orientation program, because we know that the Red Badges need to be brought along and do things like be greeters and reporters and so on. So to date, we have 4 new members. We're a little behind schedule. So we're doing a few things to try to bring in new members. For example, last year, the committee introduced reduced dues for the first 2 years for Red Badges. Most importantly, we added the evening meetings, which has been a great recruiting tool for us. We've also added recognition for new members and their sponsors, trying to really enhance recognition for sponsors. We think that's very important. But here's where I need your help. We know that the best way to bring in new members is for existing members, that's you all, to bring guests, especially to the evening meetings. So bringing members in, and I hear some today, to new meetings is the best way to reach our goal of 10 new members. And we'll take it from there. Okay, thanks.
So did you catch the fact that if you bring in a new member, you get a bottle of wine? For those of you who are vino motivated, That's another additional thing. In addition to doing good throughout the world and right here in our own community, if a bottle of wine makes a difference. I know it's made the difference for me. I'm out talking to everyone. I'm at a bus stop. Hi, would you like to join Rotary? I mean, so, you know, wine's gone up like everything. Exactly. And I told him he gets a bottle of wine if he joins, you know, so it's a win-win as we do there. All righty. Up next, President-elect Pat. What's going on with programs? I mean, for today, for example, an amazing program. I mean, I have to say you're really quite done an amazing job there. But tell us a little bit about what else is going to happen.
Thank you, President Mark and President Sheila. So I'm pleased to report that the Speakers Committee and presentations throughout this Rotary year. Wait a second. I'm pleased to report that the Speakers Committee continues to identify excellent speakers and presentations throughout the Rotary year and has already identified an exciting group of speakers through January and into February of 2025. And just a reminder, the Speakers Committee continues to receive and welcome speaker recommendations from all of our club members, and looking forward to anyone who would like to recommend a speaker to contact me and other members of the Speaker Committee. Thank you.
Seems like Pat's been doing a nice job. Haven't we had good speakers this year? Yes. One of the best parts. And Pat, did you get my email I sent you about a potential speaker, the executive director of iGate? She's a very good speaker and an interesting lady, and that thing's doing interesting stuff. So maybe we'll see that in the new year. All right. Well, is Ms. Bowers in the room? Kelly is not here. You'll have to read all about it in the newsletter. She has an outstanding article in there. And you'll hear what Facebook did to us, which is Facebook shut us down. But we're getting ourselves reestablished there. Rotary International has become aware of that and is taking steps and giving stuff to the clubs to get our individual websites back, Facebook accounts back up and running. All right. Now, I normally would have referred to this next person as Secretary Joel Swanson, but you are President-elect nominee Joel Swanson as of a few minutes ago. And they actually, according to the bylaws, are supposed to refer to him as President-elect nominee until the beginning of his year, even though technically he's been elected. I don't know why the bylaws say that, but you could call him elect-elect. And then just, it's like Christmas Eve.
President-elect, yep.
Yeah. All right, Joel, what do you have in doing your current role that the club would like to know about?
Irv's going to have a good time. This is going to be great. Just one thing, greeter is about the easiest job you can do here, and you get to meet so many of the great folks in this club. Be sure to have them sign the attendance sheet. We track attendance so that if someone misses an inordinate number of meetings, we know to ask them if they're okay, do they need help? It's no longer punitive attendance taking. It's to follow up and see how our club members are doing. I've enjoyed being secretary. Occasionally I will correct people's grammar when they submit things. So if you're a grammar Nazi, it would be a good job for you there. Other things, I'm echoing what Will was saying, but a lot of the rotating things like photographer, we have 2 people that routinely do this. It doesn't have to be great cameras like they have. You can take pictures with a phone or with a little travel camera or something like that. It will work. And we'll once I become president-elect, it's going to be hard for me to do everything and still be an AV guy. Someone needs to learn the AV stuff. It'll be easier without Zoom, but you know, if I can learn it, you can learn it. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next meeting.
Past President Sheila has just presented a wonderful opportunity to me to find her because, you know, she had one job today. which was to present the slate of the office, the complete slate, the slate that like included all of the offices that we needed to fill. For example, like treasurer, which wasn't mentioned. But gosh, Sheila,
Well, if I donate $100 to your beard fund, will I be forgiven?
you'll be forgiven. Yes, it's just that easy, folks. You're back in the family. My gosh, she's a wonderful ex-president. I'm very happy about it. And so, Sheila, come on up here and do your job. No, it's fine. I mean, either you do it or you don't do it. But I mean, you know.
Okay. It's, as always, a costly mistake. You know, there were some other things that I could have got fined for. Yes. Las Vegas. Yeah, yeah. Right. Well, and then make Christmas cards and wine, again, do not mix. So I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Just leave it at that. Anyway, I did forget one position, which is treasurer. And so there is a new a nominee for treasurer, which is Alan Burnham. And I apologize, Alan, for not including you in the slate. I was in such a hurry to get away from here. I don't know why, because I do like to talk. You would, yeah. Okay, I'd like to make a motion. Okay, all those in favor? All righty, no opposed? All right, thank you. All right, I go write my check.
And yes. Alan, thank you very much there. Wow. Yeah. So Sheila brought up another point. I got a Christmas card from Sheila. So first of all, she gets a lot of points for sending out a Christmas card, especially to me. And so this is how it was addressed to me. So here we go. Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Roberts and family. So if there was like a Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Roberts and family. Now, the good part was she got the address right, so it got to me with that horrendous title on the. So I was trying to figure out, are there two Mr. Robertses in my household, one of which my wife hasn't told me about? Or all of the other things were less good than that. So we'll just stop there. All righty. All right, Norm, you are up to tell us, are we solvent as a club? We actually are. Yes. Okay, that's it. Oh, no. Anyway, come on up. Let's get some details.
In fact, we are solvent. Total bank at this point is about 94,000, of which 51 is in a CD. So we have less in the checking accounts, obviously. That brings you into the financial health. You know about the district grant. We received the money, the almost 17,000. It is in the bank also, waiting to be used. Almost done with my goal for the year to get a handful who still have dues due, half. So we're almost there, because the dues I start paying to Rotary International in the district the 1st of January. Two big things that you need to know quickly to keep to my 2 minutes is that Finance Committee met last week, and what we're doing is we're going to recommend to the board that there be 3 levels of major donors. You'll see more in the newsletter and more after the board passes it, but we've recommended establishment of a major donor at platinum, gold, and silver. Platinum level will be 10,000, the gold will be 5,000, and the silver will be 1,000. And then we will have sponsors listed on what we're doing. It'll be different criteria of what it takes and what the club is going to do to advertise and be part of this. The last thing I want to inform you is about the crab feed, because we're changing it. You heard slightly, and it'll be explained later, about Paybe. This is a new system of how money will come in to make my life easier and sure as hell will make Alan's life easier in the long run as this works to what we hope is the level. There are a lot of major organizations that use this system. You're going to be learning about using QR codes. And the other thing, I'll leave that because it's in the newsletter, is that there's an early bird special. I urge you, the early bird will be $85 from January 8th to February 8th, right? February 1? Oh, I stand corrected. I thought it was a month. Now that you can reserve yourself a table, and all you got to do is click on the QR code, which we'll have to work with Kathy to make sure it's on our website. And Joel will probably send out an email with that. After that, it will be $90. So we're giving you incentive. There's only 42 tables. So we're urging you, especially all of you who are here, who are interested, get on it right away.
All right. Okay. Jeff, anything from vocational services? He has a couple. All right. Okay, everybody, for the vocations committee, our big thing we have coming up is on March 12th, 2025 is our youth in government. Where we're exceptionally pleased with is that they're targeting the juniors versus the seniors. So they have a good year to try to figure out what their college goals may be. And they've been able to reinstitute the trades. So not only will the youth in government be at City Hall learning how finance might work, or how to be the boss of the city, or how to be the boss of the boss, they'll also get a chance. A lot of those will get a chance to go to the corporation yard. We'll be able to see how street maintenance works, how the auto mechanics work, how all those trade positions, the buildings department, how all of that can work. So if their career is not necessarily going to be formal academics, it's at least going to be including trades and those type of vocations that are slowly going away because we don't have people to fill those. So we're really excited about that. The next thing, sorry, my notes just went down. We may need drivers to help facilitate these students to their areas and then back to here at the Rotary Club for the standard luncheon that we've always done with that before, and, you know, figure out some way of how we can embarrass all these kids. So we do have that. And the vocations committee, at least a 2 out of 3, because I didn't talk to the third person on the committee, is we are willing to help as much as we can with the educators' recognition, because vocations can't happen without educators educating them. And with that, we haven't achieved all of our goals as much as we'd like to. We are showing everybody where the water is. We've even tried to flavor the water. We tried to bubble the water. We try to purify the water a little bit, but we're not able to make them drink, and that's primarily coming from the colleges. So we'll still try to keep a focus on that. And with that, thank you. Stu, what's up with youth?
I was just watching everybody else up here and I was thinking, I've never really done this before. I feel much better if I had a guitar. So anyway, here's a quick update on youth services. For the different sections of youth services, Interact. Michelle Kleeman is the liaison for that club. And we currently have 30 students from Livermore High that are in the club, including 2 co-presidents who will be attending a future Rotary meeting here to talk about both the fall leadership conference that they went to and also to give us a club update. So that should be coming up soon. Ready. The Ready program, Glenn Kubiak is a coordinator, and they currently have between 20 and 25 students coming each week. In addition, they have had the field trips that Dennis talked about, the one to the California Academy of Sciences. They also had one to the Exploratorium in late October, which I guess was really successful also. So that's a great thing. And there are currently 12 mentors, and you can see their names up here. I'm not going to read everybody's name off. I'm going to save time here. The Ryla Camp. Michelle, Loretta, and I are the coordinators for that, and it's scheduled for the 22nd of June through the 27th of next year. And we are right now working on how many people we're going to send, probably either one or two to send to the camp. So updates are coming soon. Michelle's in a meeting today, actually, to look into that. Student of the Month. Well, the Student of the Month has been really successful so far. We've had 3 presentations with 5 different students, and we have another 10 to give out in the and the next one will be next Wednesday. Music Scholarship Program, Michael Ferrucci and Jim Douglas have taken over as co-leaders and coordinators for this program. It's changing to be more of a vocational scholarship program where we're going to look at the students' talent and financial need and desire to continue in the music field, as opposed to just their talent, okay? We're working on having more fundraisers. We had a really successful one in October at JMC Cellars with Richard Smith. It brought in, okay to say, over $4,000. So it was really great. Yeah. Currently, we have 6 committee members, and you can see their names up here. And if you're interested in either being on the committee or if you'd like to help with concerts, like setup and snacks and things like that, please let Michael or Jim know. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about, Glenn Kubiak sent me a message. He's the Youth Protection Officer, and he wanted me to mention that the Youth Protection Program has transitioned, the transition is complete, and that Michelle is now approved and has her background check, and the interview process is over, as am I. So that's it. Okay.
Wow. Lots of cool things going. Gowd, you are up for the TRF, the Rotary Foundation, TRF. All right. Tell us in a couple of minutes all the cool things. 1 minute.
All right. I think a week ago, I covered in great detail
Mustang's
the TRF status. So just talk for a minute. Next slide. Okay, so we are now at 23,535, about 72 for annual fund, 33%. Polio Plus, we have done a great job. We're at 86.8%. Thanks to all of you, and we would have an easy way to go. And what we need to do is take advantage of the year end. Those who want to contribute in 2024, please go ahead and do it. I have a detailed email to all of you last week on how to do it. And the newsletter also covers in a great detail. And whatever we can do to get 12, 15,000 this year would be great. And we'll follow up next year. And you can donate on TRF to DRF on online. And the instructions are also in the newsletter. Thank you very much.
Okay, one more thing before we wrap up. Does someone have a number in the back? 5408. Oh, a winner right there. All right, everybody. Thank you for your indulgence. We ran just a little bit long, but next week we will have great fun. Be sure and show up a little bit early. And we will wrap this up. What's that?